Browns forced to decide Deshaun Watson's future as Deion Sanders' favor works in Shedeur's benefit, says insider way back in time with the Texans. Deshaun Watson was a name synonymous with glory. Coming off 3 straight seasons of putting up impressive stats, he brought that same promise when he came to the Browns. But cut to 2025, and the Browns are caught between the shadow of a costly gamble and the promise of a new era. The QB competition has reached critical mass in the Browns locker room, and is Watson a part of that equation? Deshaun Watson has been working hard on rehab, training with his personal QB coach and hinting at a comeback. But even with that alpha mentality, things aren't looking great for him. Jimmy Haslam's big swing and a miss wasn't just a cautionary tale. It was a $230 million, 0 cents lesson in what not to do. 3 whole seasons of hoping he's the guy. But 2 Achilles tears in less than a year, and some shaky performance later, the Browns might just be done with the waiting game. The 3-14 record last year left no speculations, and insiders now believe Watson's drawing the short straw. Browns insider Mary Kay Cabot believes Deshaun will still be a part of the franchise when 2026 rolls around, but only because of the financial aspect of the deal. As Cabot wrote, it's conceivable that Watson will be on the roster again next season because even if the Browns waited until June 1 to release him, they'd still carry $80 million, 0 cents in dead money. A post-June 1 trade in 2026 would save them $46 million, 0 cents on the cap, but they'd still have $34,700,000, 0 cents in dead money that year, and almost $26 million, 0 cents. $17 million, 0 cents, and $8 million, 0 cents over the following 3 years. With the cap they saved, Cabot believes the Browns could go for a new QB next year. The Browns acquired a 2026 first-round pick from the Jaguars this year. That makes 2 first-round picks for a draft class brimming with QB talent. Watson's not in the picture for the Browns' future, but there are still other pools of potential in the QB room. As Cabot writes, if Gabrielle and Sanders show great promise this season, the Browns could conceivably have a mostly low-budget, high-potential QB room next season, with Watson possibly still serving as the veteran presence for his final year here. The new rookies have become sponges to learn from the veterans. And for Watson, navigating uncertainty, there's a bigger role that he's now stepping into, one that benefits Sanders greatly. Shedeur Sanders winning with Watson and Deion's support. When the 24 season rolled around, fans weren't happy with the numbers Watson was putting out. Fans unleashed a wave of boos at Deshaun Watson during pregame introductions in the Browns' Week 7 matchup against the Bengals. But some of those boos actually turned into shocking cheers when Watson got injured and had to be carted off the field. At the postgame presser, Myles Garrett had fired back at the crowd for their disrespect. He had notably said, "We don't boo guys that are injured on the field, especially with the instance when the cart comes out. We should be ashamed of ourselves as Browns and as fans to boo anyone on their downfall, to be a season-altering, career-altering injury." And Garrett wasn't alone in his support of Watson. At the time of Watson's injury, Deion Sanders had notably shared his support for him. Coach Prime had shared prayers for Watson with a tweet praying for Deshaun Watson fervently. And now, Watson is gearing up to return the favor. As Cabot further added in her take, Watson has also taken Shedeur Sanders under his wing to help him come up the learning curve quickly. And it's been working. Watson is only too happy to repay the favor when the Russian opens up an emergency room. Thomas Wilcup responded, "The Coach Prime is only too happy to repay the favor." Watson's mentorship for Shedeur comes at a time when the rookie is navigating legal troubles following 2 speeding incidents. Watson's support gives Shedeur a fresh spark and a glimpse of what's coming next. The roller coaster QB ride is far from over for the Browns. Can Shedeur at least be back on the QB1 track with Watson in his corner? We'll find out when the season begins. The NFL is no stranger to dramatic crossroads, but the situation unfolding in Cleveland could reshape not only the Browns' future, but ripple across college football and the next NFL draft. As the franchise grapples with lingering questions about Deshaun Watson's viability as their franchise quarterback, a new narrative has emerged. One in which Deion Sanders, coach of the Colorado Buffaloes and father of star quarterback Shedeur Sanders, may be quietly orchestrating a shift in power, one that could see his son land in Cleveland under unprecedented circumstances. Watson's uncertain future. Deshaun Watson was once heralded as a generational talent, a dual-threat quarterback who could bring stability and success to any franchise willing to invest in him. The Browns did exactly that, trading a king's ransom for Watson and handing him a fully guaranteed $230 million, 0-cents deal. A move that stunned the league and reset quarterback contract negotiations. But since then, the investment hasn't paid off. Between injuries, inconsistency, and off-field controversies, Watson's time in Cleveland has been anything but smooth. The flashes of brilliance are still there, but they're often overshadowed by missed games and missed opportunities. As 2025 looms, the Browns front office, led by GM Andrew Berry and head coach Kevin Stefanski, is forced to answer a difficult question. Can they still build around Watson, or is it time to move on? And that's where Deion Sanders, one of the most influential voices in football today, enters the story. Primetime's influence Deion Sanders has always believed in his son. From their time at Jackson State to the nationally televised rise of Colorado football, Deion has positioned Shedeur not just as a promising quarterback, but as a leader, a brand, and increasingly a future NFL star. With Shedeur projected as a top 3 pick in the 2025 NFL draft, teams across the league are already maneuvering for position. But insiders suggest something more strategic may be underway. Deion, well aware of how chaotic the Browns quarterback situation has become, has reportedly expressed strong interest in Cleveland as a landing spot for Shedeur. According to one league insider, Sanders has even done favors for Browns decision-makers in the past, perhaps media access, recruiting pipelines, or leveraging endorsements, and now might be cashing in those chips. If there's one thing Deion knows, it's timing, said the source. He sees a team desperate for a new identity. He sees a front office backed into a corner, and he sees an opportunity to make his son the face of a storied franchise on his terms.